Hi, I'm Fish on a Heater from Devon Corp, and I'm here with all the information you need to help set up your Devon Corp tournament in a way that's fully compliant and ready to add to the global leaderboards. Before we do any of this, the first step is to make sure you've gone to the Devon Corp Discord server and made sure your community is accredited to be able to run these tournaments and have them eligible for ranking. But once we've done that, you want to go to the Dracoviz account that's associated with your community, and you'll see a big button here in the homepage saying create a tournament. We're just going to go ahead and click that, and it'll take you to the information page so you can input all the details for your tournament. Some of these are mandatory, some you can customize however you want or need, and we're going to go through each of those and point out which one's which. So obviously tournament name, you can name that whatever you want. I run a community called Pallet Town PvP, and so I'm just going to name mine Pallet Town Devon Cup. And in the tournament description, you have to put something in here, anything that is relevant information to your players. So things like how long the rounds are, what the purpose of the tournament is, asking people to make sure their names on Dracoviz are the same as what they've got in-game and on Discord as well, how to find your server and any information they need on entering the server, you know, and anything that they can find useful, right? So for now, we'll just put hi, but don't do that. Then you want to go to a server invite link, paste a link to your Discord server to help people find it easier. Round length. Now, tournaments can be either all in one night or over the course of several days. If you're having it in one night, then I find 45 minutes is the sweet spot to have your round lengths set to. If you've got a lot of experienced players that like know what's up, know how it all works, then maybe 30 minutes, just, you know, get in there, get it done. If you've got a lot of newer players that need a bit of hand holding, then maybe 60 minutes, a little more time, 90 minutes, whatever you feel is necessary for that particular group of people. The other tournaments, the multi-day tournaments, they allow people the flexibility to be able to arrange their battle with their opponent at their own convenience. So in Pallet Town, we have 72-hour rounds, 3 days, and once a round starts, a player can message their opponent and say, hey, I'm free during this window on Tuesday and this window on Wednesday, when would you be available? And they can arrange their battles that way. So they can be any length up to a week, but just be aware that the longer you have your rounds, the earlier in the month you have to start to make sure that your tournament's done by the end of the month, when all the tournament results are required to be entered by. Let's go back to 72 hours for that, and then bracket type. So for bracket type, most tournaments will be Swiss bracket, which is a system that pairs people up with others based on the amount of wins they've had. So if you win your first round, then you'll be paired up against someone in round two who also won their first round, and vice versa. If you lose, then you'll be paired up against someone in round two who also lost. And it's a really efficient way to determine who the best players are for that tournament and the not so best as well. If you've got a very low number of participants, then you can select round robin, which pairs everyone against everyone once. So the number of rounds is equal to the number of players in the tournament minus 1, because obviously you can't play yourself. If there's 7 players, then there'll be 6 rounds, etc. So we're going to go Swiss bracket. We'll talk a little more about that in a sec. The number of games per round, this one is mandatory. It has to be 3 games. That's 3 battles per round. And how many points are awarded for a bye? This has to be 3. Allow players to report additional games. That has to be checked, because say for example in a Play Pokemon tournament, once a player wins the first 2 games, there's no reason whatsoever to play the game 3, right? Whereas in Devon Corp, there is a reason. The third battle can affect your ranking. If you lose the first 2 and then come back and win the third one, then the ranking algorithm takes that to mean, okay, maybe we shouldn't drop this guy's rank as much as what we would have otherwise. So make sure that players can play and report a third battle. And I personally click require both players to report their score. This one isn't mandatory, but I find it helps with keeping track of the tournament a little better. Like, it flags things if both players report their score differently. I can't tell you the amount of times that I've lost 1-2 and then accidentally reported it as 2-1 my way. Accidentally, but No, really, accidentally. I'm not trying. Anyway, and make sure that these bottom 2 boxes are not checked. Do not check these boxes. The private tournament one and the high teams from spectators. Private tournament because to be rank eligible, the tournament has to be open to anyone. And hiding teams from spectators, once the tournament started, it's more of a transparency thing, that one. Like, we want to be able to, like, do team checks, etc. Then you head down to game settings, and this is generally the stuff that will appear on the team sheets when the tournament starts. The max number of teams, or players in this case. The Swiss tournaments are minimum of 8 players and maximum of 128. Once we get more than 128, like, the system won't accept that anymore, so we just go the maximum 128. If you've got between 4 and 8 players, then you can do round robin. So the round robin can't be any more than 8 players, and come on, why would you want to? You don't want to have like an 8-round tournament. Yeah, but so we're just doing the Swiss one for now, and then with all these details that appear on the team sheet, the only one that is required and necessary is the CP registration. You want to click visible to all players. The rest you can go not required. So HP visibility not required, movesets not required, and I say you must. You must say not required for all of these. Draft mode, no drafts. And it's definitely not a team tournament. We don't have functionality for team tournaments yet. Under meta, you want to select that month's Devon meta, which at the time of this recording is the Crypt Cup, the first month of season number 2. And of course, you want to hide teams from the host before registration completes. That's more of a transparency thing as well. I know you wouldn't do this ever, but there are some bad eggs who might see people's teams before the tournament started and use that to their advantage. So just to make sure that doesn't happen, we hide the teams from the host. You will still be able to tell if people have entered a team or not, because it'll have an X or a check mark next to that person's name if they've entered one or not. Then you create your tournament, and that will appear on your homepage. Here you have a brand spanking new tournament that you can share with your community. Hope that helps, and good luck setting up your Devon Cup tournaments.